2004 presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, John Kerry. Could you imagine if he actually got elected in 2004 and didn't get blown out by W? Just how different the political landscape would look. Like, okay, the Democrats have never really, at least in modern times, been that great of grooming and preparing a new candidate to come along with, of course, the aberration that was Barack Obama, who just kind of arose out of relative anonymity, who was a junior senator from Illinois, who gave a sterling speech at the previous year's Democratic National Convention, and then, yeah, he just got hastily put into the White House because, black guy. But how much of a different place would it have been if John Kerry was elected in 2004? Okay, that would have pushed Barack Obama office probably a year, or rather election cycle, sorry. We would just be living in such a weirder place right now. At least in my opinion. Anyways, maybe that would have been for the best, perhaps, because he's had quite a few positions in previous governments as well, because he was the CIA or the Department of Defense director. It's basically the same deep state institution. Really, it doesn't matter. He was the head of that under Obama. And then, of course, he went pimping around. And prior to that, during the 4 years of Trump, and then prior to that, he was a oil peddler and living off his political connections. So now that he's the new Climate Czar for Biden, I forget his official title, and I'm sure we're going to get to that as well. The former Secretary of State, he's in some trouble. Now this one's interesting because he's dealing in secret ways with Iran. That's not good, because the last time that things happened under the cover of night with Iran and the United States, a pallet full of cash was dropped off on an airstrip and hostages were exchanged. Fucking weird, right? So then we got this. Secret recording of Iranian foreign minister reveals John Kerry told him about Israeli strikes in Syria. Okay. I always figured that the Democrats would, well, at least this administration, whatever you want to call it was going to undermine the Abraham Accords signed under President Trump. You know, all those peace deals between Israel in order to try to get some fucking normalization in the region and prevent the next world war. But, okay, old stutterin', mutterin' Joe pops in there, tries to answer some questions, but then lets slip that some people are going to get him in trouble for answering those. That's a fucking weird story in and of itself. We'll see what happens with the joint session tomorrow. Anyways, yeah, those warmongers that are in the deep state in Washington, yeah, they've been awfully silent, or I guess they've been kind of leashed up, kind of chained up, and they just couldn't wait to start saber rattling. And this is kind of what we're getting here. A little weird. Former U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry allegedly informed Iran that Israel had carried out at least 200 covert strikes against Iranian targets. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Safir, revealed in a leaked recording obtained by the New York Times. I wonder what they edited out of this. That's weird. According to the Times, Zarif revealed that he was often kept in the dark regarding security matters, sometimes to his embarrassment, and that to his astonishment, Kerry, who continued meeting with Zarif, my bad. I'm not very good with moon runes. Even after leaving office, told him that Israel had attacked Iranian interests in Syria at least 200 times. The recording, described by the Times as a conversation in March between Mr. Zarif and an economist named Saeed Layaz, was first leaked to the UK-based Saudi-owned Farsi-language news channel Iran International, which is seen as hostile to Iran. Well, there are so many qualifiers on that. Who the fuck knows the validity of this recording anyways? The story is weird. The recording suggests that Zarif and others within the Iranian regime might privately have been glad that the US killed terrorist Qasem Soleimani, thank God, praise be to Allah, leader of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps last year. He died like a dog. Zarif says the United States delivered a major blow to Iran, more damaging than if it had wiped out the entire city in an attack. Yes, because generals tend to be more important and significant than buildings. Who'da thunk it? But he said some of Mr. Soleimani's actions also damaged the country. Yeah, so it's almost like that dude was trying to plan a coup or a little counter-revolution, or maybe just destabilize the region, so getting rid of him was probably the best course of action for everyone involved. There were, like, no tears shed when he was fucking wiped with the press of a button. Unless, of course, you're a Democrat, because anything Trump do, orange man bad, right? And Joe Biden, who probably thought they killed him years ago and hung him after they toppled one of his statues. Like, send our regards to the Shah, man. Zarif also suggested that the government matters in Iran are often dictated by the IRGC, and that Russia had worked with Soleimani to thwart the 2015 nuclear deal. In the Islamic Republic, the military field rules, as Zarif said. I've sacrificed diplomacy for the military field rather than the field servicing diplomacy. Zarif also criticized Soleimani for allowing Russian warplanes to fly over Iran in the way to bomb Syria. That's cool. During the recording, Zarif mentioned several times that the interview was never intended for publication. That sucks. Like, I mean, come on. Why would you have to say that? Isn't that just a rather large, empty-headed expression that you'd be looking across the table at? Like, I mean, come on. There's no place in that fucking giant dome to hide a recording device. Who would possibly be that sinister? But this is actually pretty big news, okay? For as confusing and weird and kind of seemingly out of nowhere as this is, John Kerry doing fucked up stuff should really surprise nobody. He's been in government for decades at this point. Not quite at Joe Biden's level, but he's been around doing this kind of shadowy, covert stuff as much as a big lumbering jackass can be shadowy and covert. But this one, I don't know, it might be the last straw, and this might be the first casualty of the Biden administration. Because as much as they don't really have much power, this is still a bad look. So Republicans demand investigation or resignation of John Kerry for allegedly leaking secrets to Iran. Yeah. Key members of the GOP are calling for either an investigation or resignation following the reports of the U.S. Secretary of State and current Climate Czar John Kerry leaking information about covert Israeli military operations to Iran. Ned Price, a spokesperson for the State Department, told reporters that he couldn't speak about the authenticity, accuracy, or any motives behind the dissemination of the tape, as it is purportedly leaked material. Oh, couldn't find that on Twitter then, because they're very strict and they're very consistent on making sure that no hacked or leaked material makes their way onto their platform. Fuck off. I would just like to make a broad point that if you go back and look at press reportings from this time, this certainly was not secret. Really? Really? Okay. Then why is it such a big deal if it wasn't secret? Anyways. And governments that were involved were speaking to this publicly and on their record. Care to cite those records? No, shut up. This is leaked information. Okay. Key members of the GOP, however, are calling for action. If this tape is verified, it would signal catastrophic and disqualifying recklessness by Envoy Kerry to Foreign Minister Zarif that endangered the safety of Americans and our allies, Ted Cruz said to the Daily Wire, while patting Ben Shapiro on the head. And it would be consistent with his long pattern of empowering Iran's regime, he continued, noting Kerry. He poured hundreds of billions of dollars into the Ayatollah's terrorist bank accounts, was a close confidant of Zarif during the Obama administration, and was caught repeatedly meeting with him during the Trump administration. Notwithstanding the Logan Act, of course, because that only applies to one side of the aisle, and has never publicly accounted for what they discussed. Senator Dan Sullivan from Arkansas, oh, I'm sorry, that's Alaska, I'm retarded, took it a step further, calling for Kerry's resignation. Enough is enough, and I'm thirsty. Where's that giant butler with my drink? The red line was crossed. If this is true, revealing secret information to one of America's most sworn enemies and the blood of thousands of American military members on its hands. That sounded awfully like war talk, pal. Undermining the interests of one of our own most important allies, the State of Israel. If this is true, John Kerry needs to go. Put on your giant shoes and fuck off. He should resign, or he should get fired by the President of the United States. Maybe. Because he is also a straight white male, and there's probably some black trans disabled a lesbian out there that probably needs a helping hand. He needs to be empowered by an even older, straighter, whiter man. Practically translucent. Have you seen Biden lately? Oh, that's right, nobody has. It continues to go on and on and on, and I could read a statement by Nikki Haley, but I am infuriated enough by what's happening up in Canada to really point that out. But I would much rather talk about what is currently going on with the audit in Arizona, because we have a little bit more information coming out on that one, and it's kind of more Democrat corruption, because they keep suing to make sure this doesn't happen. Holy fuck. I think we're past the point of giving them the benefit of the doubt. there is clearly something that they're trying to hide now. Okay? If there was nothing to double check, why would they continue to do this? You could give them the benefit of the doubt for the first time. You could say that, okay, we didn't get proper procedures given to us by one of the 4 auditing firms. Okay, somebody had a late fucking postage date, because we all know how good Democrats are with post-dating things. We didn't get them in time. Yeah, okay, you could go ahead and sue for that. Try to get it off on a technicality. They know all the ins and outs, of course. But for a second time, and then it's only allowed to go on today and might have to stop again tomorrow because there's going to be another fucking trial date. Oh my God. I can't wait. If this actually happens, it's going to be tremendous. I don't know. This might have, the reporting on the findings of this audit might have to be an exclusive on different platforms. So I know this is going to be fine because this is just what's going on right now. Anyways, a judge in Arizona on April 27th, that's today, allowed a 2020 election audit in the state's largest county to continue. Okay, at least until another hearing on April 28th, tomorrow. So what? These people who are set down to audit in a big old space where things are definitely being controlled. As you can see, that looks pretty fucking secure, okay? Everything's accounted for. Everybody is perfectly spaced away. There's cameras literally everywhere. You can see, it really doesn't matter because fucking Democrats are going to complain regardless. Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Daniel Martin said he wouldn't extend a temporary restraining order that would have halted the audit on April 23rd. Yeah, when that one was filed just a couple of hours before the audit was initially supposed to take place. And then that had to get settled, and then so we know that things have been going on so far. I think this was a very productive and useful hearing. I still have some thinking to do about the requested relief from the plaintiffs. I will do that between now and tomorrow morning. Why? Democrats last week filed a last-minute lawsuit seeking to block the audit in Maricopa County. Yes, we've been over that. The audit is for more than 2 million ballots, and dozens of electronic tabulators started on April 23rd. Like 328 machines, I think, are down there. Arizona State subpoenaed the election documents and machines in January, and a judge the following month ruled the subpoenas were valid and must be obeyed. After, of course, the Board of Commissioners defied the subpoena, which is, I don't know, something that you can do without punishment. Fucking who knows? Like an arrest warrant. I guess they must have had proper diversity on the panel in order for somebody to defy the subpoenas. It all escapes me because this is just bonkers. Defendants, including the Senate, say that since the process is already underway, along with the alleged lack of standing and substantive claims, where have we heard this before? It's nice to see this kind of flip reversed. Means the judge shouldn't stop the audit. Oh, trust me. This is the judge right here. He was appointed in 2007 by George W. Bush. So it could go either way, really. At the same time, it is Arizona, a Republican stronghold appointed by Bush in the time that any decisions regarding the Southwest had to go through John McCain. Like I said, 50-50 on this one. I'm not too sure. But yeah, a little bit more on the response. An injunction of even a day may derail this audit. Alexander Kolodin, an attorney for Cyber Ninjas, one of 4 firms conducting the process, and the one explicitly mentioned in the lawsuit itself when we went over that a few days ago, told the court. Corey Langhofer, an attorney for the Senate, told Martin that the Senate has always intended to follow the law. Yes, they've been very explicit on what they want, what the procedures are going to be, but that's just not enough for the Democrats. But the case raised the question of what the law requires. The Senate believes everything plaintiffs want either doesn't apply or is already being done, he said, adding, there is no need for an injunction at all. Rupali Desi, the attorney for the Arizona Democratic Party, who I don't know is this dumb or is just playing dumb, put forth what she said are serious allegations regarding security at Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix. There are more cameras than actual people there. I think you'll be fine. Among the allegations was a local news reporter who claimed to have been able to walk around Veterans Memorial Coliseum, okay, where the audit is taking place. Depends on which outlet that comes from, because Lots of people in Arizona know how politicized the local media is, so take that for what you will. Where the audit is taking place, yes, on 4 different days, unbothered, including getting close to both tabulators and ballots. Yeah, you probably had like a media pass on you or some kind of identifying credentials that would probably not make anybody question you. I would think that's probably the case, but that also detracts from your story, so don't let that part out. Just because the audit started before the parties were prepared to put into proper place the security procedures, PPP, is also not a reason why we shouldn't take a pause. Of course, it's just a pause. There's nothing possibly wrong that could happen. It's not like everything's already been cracked open. Things have been properly allocated and they're already in the process of it. But no, just saran wrapping this stuff and putting it back and don't ask any questions about it. That couldn't possibly fuck everything up. Now, could it? No, of course not. Until we have absolute certainty. You're never going to get absolute certainty that the laws are being followed, she said through her 9 masks on the way to get her 2nd or 3rd vaccination shot. I guess we'll have to talk about this tomorrow because there's going to be another trial, but for fuck's sakes. We got pictures from inside the building. Camera post there, camera post there, camera. As far as the eye can see, everything's spaced out, multiple people at a table. What the fuck else do you want? We went over all the procedures. We went over all of the material that's going to be audited, how it's going to be audited. You know what's going to be happening. You're going to be able to watch. You're going to be able to be there in person with different poll workers. People are allowed to come in if they're vetted and properly certified to be there. Everything is on the up and up. Trying to find the stuff that might not be on the up and up. That's what they're most scared about. There's no other way to put it at this point. Try to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's just no doubt left to give. So yeah, I guess we'll be talking about it tomorrow, 28th, another trial. Don't be surprised if this goes one way or another. I hope it continues, but I wouldn't be shocked if it gets totally shut down and then the Veterans Memorial Coliseum just fucking goes up in flames overnight. Who knows? With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.